watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on. News 25 is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law, voted Best of Las Vegas. Give them a call, 702-727-9900.
Thank you for joining us here on News 25 and Ace Country Radio and streaming at KPVM.TV and now on Roku devices on this Monday, January 27th, 2025. Good evening. I'm Chris Palermo. Here's what's happening. A power line in Pahrump Park caught fire this weekend, and News 25 spoke with Valley Electric lineman Nate Stalcup for the details.
Yesterday evening, a fire broke out on an electrical pole in Pahrump Park, right behind the rodeo arena. We spoke with Nate Stalcup, who arrived with his crew to handle the situation.
At 5:34, dispatch called me to head out onto the scene. Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue were already on the scene because the pole behind me was on fire. This happens because when we don't get rain for quite some time, a lot of dust and everything accumulate on top of the pole. And after it gets a little bit wet, it starts tracking. So that means electricity starts going from the insulator that it's on and starts working its way down. And with the dried wood arm, it basically caught on fire. And that's what we're looking at now. Nothing too bad right now. It should be a pretty easy fix. We're going to try to temp it for the night. Vince is up there right now, one of our apprentice linemen, and he's going to make sure that it's all in the clear and safe to re-energize. And then hopefully tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon sometime we can get out here and actually replace the pole and make it just better than how it was.
Stalcup explains the impact of the incident, highlighting that while the fire did cause some disruptions, it only affected community buildings that are currently not in use, with no impact on residential areas.
Currently not any residents. There are some of the county buildings further down the line, and the arena here are going to be without power, but luckily they are currently not being used, so we really lucked out on this one.
More news now. A small structure near the Holiday Inn caught fire over the weekend, sending a homeless person to the hospital.
At approximately 3 p.m. on January 25th, emergency crews responded to a fire near Highway 160 right next to the Holiday Inn Express. The blaze engulfed a small shed situated in the middle of the desert. One individual, identified as a homeless person who was inside of the shed when it caught fire, was transported to Desert View Hospital for treatment of smoke inhalation. Their condition is currently unknown. Authorities are also investigating the cause of the fire, which remains undetermined at this time. Emergency responders were able to contain the flames before they spread any further. News 25 reached out to Fire Chief Scott Lewis for any updates, though no further updates have been released.
Downtown Las Vegas was busy Saturday as President Donald J. Trump supporters swarmed Circa Hotel and Casino in anticipation of his first address to Nevada since Halloween 2024. News 25 Las Vegas correspondent Maria Sanders covered it all and now joins us from the city.
U.S. President Donald J. Trump touched down in Las Vegas over the weekend, personally thanking the Silver State for helping him achieve the biggest political comeback in the history of our country. As Trump said earlier during campaign season here in the summer, if we win Nevada, we win the whole thing. Let's check out DJT's latest tour of Clark County with our original KPVM television coverage.
I want to come to Nevada to pay my respects because this is the only Republican win of this state in decades, and it was a very big landslide. But I think Republicans are going to win a lot now. But we had a big win, and it was an early win, and that was a bad signal for the Democrats. They heard that we were leading so big here.
It is truly God that got Trump here and is making America great again. And Trump was brought here by God.
I am so excited. I have so much respect and I honor him. And he is an angel sent from heaven for America and for the world. He is not only so intelligent, but he has the sympathy and the intelligence, and he has the energy like nothing I've ever seen in my life. And I'm just so grateful to God that he is going to really uplift, I think, the world.
In the coming weeks, I'll be working with Congress to get a bill on my desk that cuts taxes for workers, families, small businesses, and very importantly, keeps my promise for a thing called, and I know you didn't hear anything about this, and I'm sure it had no influence on the state, the fact that we won this crazy, massive majority, a state that hadn't been won by a Republican in decades. But I'm sure you haven't heard, but we're going to get it for you. No tax on tips. No tax on tips.
I stayed at the Trump International last night. It was a wonderful hotel. I'm really glad I got to do it once. He was there. Yeah, I didn't see him, but he was there. He was upstairs, yeah.
Did you steal the Trump bathrobe?
I did not. There was not one in my room, but I did take the bar of soap and the shampoo and the conditioner.
A young waitress came up and I said, how are you doing? And in my restaurant in the hotel in Trump, I said, how are you doing? And she said, not great, because they're after me so viciously for tips. They just want my tip income and they don't believe me and all of this. And she said, it's terrible. You know, sir, you should have no tax on tips. I said, what? So what'd you just say? No tax on tips. That was about the amount of my consultation.
I've never seen anything like this before, where people just really have an ambition to be better.
Be one, be USA, be one, reunited with Trump.
Be sure to tune in tomorrow night, where we air a little bit more of President Trump's latest trip to Las Vegas. Proudly reporting from Clark County and getting it over that hump to all my people in the sunny desert oasis of Pahrump, I'm Maria Centers for News 25 Las Vegas.
Thank you very much, Maria. Exciting times. Today marks Holocaust Remembrance Day, a solemn occasion to honor the 6 million Jewish victims and millions of others, including Roman people, disabled individuals, and political dissidents who perished during the Holocaust across the world. Memorial services and educational events are being held to reflect on the horrors of the past and ensure that such atrocities are never repeated. This year's theme, Never Forget, underscores the importance of remembering history to prevent future hate and violence. Holocaust survivors, many still sharing their personal stories, stress the need for education to combat discrimination and intolerance. As we remember the lives lost, we are reminded of our responsibility to bear witness and ensure the lessons of the Holocaust endure for generations to come. More local stories coming up. You're watching News 25.
You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on.
Welcome back to News 25. I'm Chris Palermo. The Las Vegas man accused of killing his girlfriend and driving around with her deceased body and his vehicle appeared in court today.
Julio Vasquez, age 24, appeared in court on Monday morning to face charges for the death of his girlfriend, 24-year-old Celine Perez. The charges include open murder and disobeying a police officer, leading to bodily harm or death. According to authorities, Vasquez shot Perez in the back of the head during a dispute on Sunday, January 19th, and then drove around with her body for over an hour in the passenger seat of his car. He later contacted his friend, telling her he had accidentally shot Perez and was driving around with her body near East Sahara. Vasquez claimed the shooting was intentional, saying the gun went off while he was testing her after an argument. The friend then called 911 after Vasquez refused to take Perez to the hospital. Police later spotted Vasquez's vehicle and pursued him after he failed to pull over. The pursuit ended in a crash, but Vasquez continued to flee until his arrest. Vasquez, who was injured during the chase, appeared in court on Monday while handcuffed to the wheelchair. He missed his 2 previous court dates due to his injuries. A preliminary hearing has been set for him on March 3rd, 2025, and Vasquez remains in custody without bail.
A Las Vegas Metro officer is now on administrative leave for shooting his neighbor after allegedly seeing the man beating a woman in the backyard. News 25 has this story.
A man is dead after an off-duty Las Vegas Metro officer and his wife shot him in their front yard on Friday morning. The incident occurred near 6th Street and Avenue 1 in Boulder City and has prompted an ongoing investigation by Las Vegas Metro.
LVMP Dispatch received a call to our communications center from Boulder City Police Department requesting assistance. They arrived on a call in the 700 block of 6th Street, reference a subject that they found deceased in a front yard. It was later determined that the shooter was an off-duty LVMPD officer. With this information, it was determined that LVMPD's force investigation team would take over the investigation. The details are as follows. The off-duty officer and his wife was inside of their residence when they heard a commotion coming from the backyard of a neighbor's. The off-duty officer went outside and observed a male mounted on top of a female, punching and strangling her at the same time, at which time he notified his wife, who was inside of the residence, to notify police. She called 911. At which time the off-duty officer went into the backyard and intervened, separating the male and the female which were in the backyard. The off-duty officer was able to remove the female from the backyard and handed her off to his wife in the front of his yard, of their yard. The male then followed the off-duty officer into his front yard, where his wife had the female half of the altercation. The off-duty officer gave numerous commands to the male half to stop, do not come any closer or we will shoot. At which time the male continued to advance on them, causing the off-duty officer and his wife to shoot the subject, striking him. He was later pronounced deceased in the front yard, at which time LVMPD officers arrived to take over the investigation.
Details between the relationship of the man and the woman, as well as how long these parties knew each other, is still unclear. Investigators are also working to determine how many shots were fired during the confrontation. In a released update on January 26th, Las Vegas Metro identified the officer involved in the shooting as 48-year-old Cesar Ibarra, a veteran of the department since 2005. Officer Ibarra is currently assigned to the Homeland Security Division Airport Bureau, and he has been placed on administrative leave while the incident is being reviewed. This investigation is ongoing and further details are expected to be released soon.
And this past Saturday, I attended a meeting of concerned residents right here in Pahrump at the Coyote's Den, and Kevin Emmerich of the group Basin Watch told us about the research and the information he's sharing on all the proposed solar farm plans here in the region.
My name is Kevin Emmerich, and I'm a co-founder of a nonprofit organization, Basin and Range Watch, and I'm here to share information about what I know about the large-scale solar plan on public land near the Pahrump Valley.
So you just gave an excellent presentation, a meeting for about an hour. We came down here for the Rough Hat Solar, but you presented to us a bunch of different projects. Could you maybe in about 30 seconds to a minute take us through those and how they'll impact the community?
Okay, there are approximately 5 projects proposed. There's one actually almost built, so that's 6 total. The 5 projects will create large fugitive dust impacts. The 5 projects will use collectively close to 4,000 to 5,000 acre-feet of water. The 5 projects will harm the wildlife of the Pahrump Valley, like the desert tortoise. The 5 projects will damage the viewshed and the property values of this area. And the 5 projects will be really bad for like Native American sites, historical sites, that sort of thing.
Is it true that the electricity, a lot of the electricity generated, essentially is being bounced and sent to California?
Yes, that is true because the way the transmission and grid infrastructure is set up, this is pretty much designed to feed California and help them meet their renewable portfolio standard goals. But unfortunately, Nevada does not benefit from it.
So to wrap it up here, how can people learn more, keep in touch? I know you passed around a letter to send to Bureau of Land Management. And how can people keep up with you? Is there a website or how?
Yes, we have a website called www.basinandrangewatch2.org.
And thank you very much, Kevin, for your News 25 in East Country.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kevin.
And of course, News 25 will continue to follow this very important story. More local stories coming up.
You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on. News 25 is brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500.
Welcome back to News 25. I'm Chris Palermo. In sports, a blockbuster trade. WNBA and Kelsey Plum, well, she's gone. Mikey has your look at sports.
Time now for your News 25 look at sports and streaming at KPVM.TV and now on Roku devices. Vegas Golden Knights in action last night, welcoming their Stanley Cup rival, the Florida Panthers. First period, Braden McNabb lets one rip, 1-0 Vegas. Fast forward to the second period, Tanner Pearson picks the corner, 2-0. On to the third period, Panthers on the attack. Anton Lundell makes it 2-1. Third period, Jack Eichel with the pass to Barbashev. Back to Eichel. 3-1. Bring it in. Knights go on to win 4-1. Vegas welcomes the Dallas Stars on Tuesday. Well, Kelsey Plum is headed to Los Angeles as part of a three-way trade that will send Jewel Lloyd to the Las Vegas Aces. The Sparks traded number 2 in the draft and Lee Ueriu to Seattle. Los Angeles also received the number 9 pick. The Aces got the 13th pick in the draft. Super Bowl 59 is set. We have our teams, the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Kansas City Chiefs at Caesars Superdome in New Orleans on February 9th. And Pahrump Valley Trojan Girls Basketball B team are at Moapa Valley this evening. And that's your look at sports on News 25.
News 25 Weather Cam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
Lerner and Rowe Weather Cam right outside the studios here in Pahrump. That's Mount Charleston. And I don't know about you, but we had to dust off the cobwebs on the controls for the windshield wipers, and the dew point is up a little bit, which is unusual here in the desert. Will the rain continue?
Good evening, Nevada. I'm Kaylee Bentler in the News 25 Weather Studios. Let's check out our regional weather right off the bat. Weather twins for Fernley and Fallon at 41 degrees, 39 Carson City, 37-degree weather twins for Tonopah and Goldfield, 52 in Beatty, 57 Amargosa, 55 Las Vegas, and 68 in Death Valley. But over in our paradise of Pahrump, currently seeing scattered clouds and scattered patches of rain as well at 50 degrees. We had a high of 55 earlier, winds east-southeast 6 miles per hour, humidity 29%, and the sun rose at 6:48. But we watched it go away just a little bit ago at 5:05 p.m. Expect humidity at 49%, winds east-northeast 5 miles per hour with a low of 31, and the scattered clouds are sticking around. Let's check out the rest of our week. Tomorrow, Tuesday, still scattered clouds at 54 degrees, and then we're seeing just upper 50s, low 60s. Until our weekend, check out Sunday, we hit 70 degrees with scattered clouds as well, and then landing on 73 degrees on Monday. And that is your look at the weather. Back to the desk, here's Chris.
Okay, thank you, Miss Gailey, for delivering the sun once again, and those temps this weekend. Well, let's open up the pools. That'll just about do it for all of us here tonight. I'm Chris Palermo. Make it a great night.